Welcome dear students to our English class. I am teacher Velrina Gonsalves and today we are going to study the poem 4.1 Under the Greenwood Tree by William Shakespeare. This poem is sung in the first act of famous drama of William Shakespeare, As You Like It. This poem is composed by William Shakespeare and sung by Amiens who was living a life of exile in the forest of Arden with a duke. It appears in the forest of Ardennes where Duke's brother seeks the shelter after having been expelled by the Duke. A group of noblemen sings along with Duke's brother. Students, now I'll read the poem. Y'all please pay attention to it carefully. Under the greenwood tree. Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy but winter and rough weather, who doth ambition shun, and loves to live in the sun, seeking the food he eats, and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy but winter and rough weather. Students, now in this poem there are few difficult words or new words. Let us see those words and their meanings. First one, greenwood, which means forest. Second, to lie means to stay or live. Third, merry note means cheerful sound. Fourth, hither, it is an old English word which means here. Fifth, doth, even this is an old English word which means does. Sixth, ambition means desire. Seventh, shun means ignore. And finally, we have the last word that is actually the confection of two words. I apostrophe the is in the. This type of technique the poet uses to make the poetic line balanced. Now students, let us see the first stanza of the poem and its explanation. Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me, and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy but winter and rough weather. Now students, as said before, this poem is a song from the drama by William Shakespeare, and it is a drama based on Duke and his brother. Now let us see the explanation of this first stanza. In this drama, as the Duke's brother was exiled out of his city by no one else but his own brother, he has therefore worst experience of the palace and blood relationships. He had experienced that his own brother turned out to be the bitterest of his own enemy. Hence, he reminds of the tortures of his life inside the palace and the life in exile in the forest of Ardennes. He believes that the life in the forest is more comfortable. So, through the first stanza, he invites his fellow men by telling them the pleasures of life in the forest. He says that whatever or whoever wants the birds to sing his beautiful songs through their throat must come to the forest. He says, in the forest there is no enemy, as in the human society there are many people enemies of each other. But in the forest there are only hardship of winter and rough weather. Otherwise, life in the forest is free, happy, and free of every kind of tension and worries. Now, let us see the second stanza. Who doth ambition shun and loves to live in the sun, seeking the food he eats and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy but winter and rough weather. In this stanza, he goes on to describe what are the benefits of living in the forest. He says that first blessing of living in the forest is that it gives freedom from extra desires of a person. All that a person keeps wishing in the human society is not possible in the forest. A person who lives in a human society keeps on developing desires after desires, and this chain of desires leads to the death of person, but they never end. And all that a person keeps wishing in human society is not possible in the forest. When you are in the forest, you don't need money or wealth. Secondly, every time there is an open sky and glares of sunlight, which are no less than a blessing. He adds that a person living in the forest only needs food to remain alive. Here too there are no extra choices. He has to remain content on whatever he gets to eat. Last lines again tell that in the forest there is no enemy for the person as in the human society, but only winter and rough weather are the two challenges which we have to face while living in the forest. Students, I hope you all have understood the explanation of both the stanzas. Now let us see what lesson we get from this poem. In this poem, the poet William Shakespeare expresses his emotions regarding the life in the forest. According to him, the life in the forest is closer to nature and free of every kind of envy and cruelty. A person who lives in the forest also becomes able to ignore his extra desires and looks for the food to eat. In this matter too, he remains satiated when he eats whatever he gets from the nature. But he has to bear upon his head the rainy weather and winter, as the tree may not provide perfect shelter from them. But even then, this life is much better than the life in human society. Students, I hope the poem Under the Greenwood Tree is clear to you all. Thank you.